on the phone too.
Is my hair okay?
Your hair is gorgeous.
Okay. Your beard's looking good.
Cute videos, by the way. We shared them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun with that.
I tried to do it on Instagram, but
Who'd you get for the actor for Darren? Because the striking resemblance was amazing.
Yeah, I can't divulge that information. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, we are live.
Trisha says we're live.
And I think we're public too.
And we're public too.
Well, okay.
Hi guys, welcome.
I think.
There's nobody watching yet.
Oh, do you have a way to change your description? Because of the description of the video, it says, "Come on, ladies, let's hear from you tonight."
No, you still haven't changed that.
Well, that's not what's showing up on mine.
Oh, okay.
There we are. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, it just says live chat.
Yay.
It doesn't say anything what
Playing
you just
with
said,
the,
which I don't know if I want to
settings.
repeat.
It should say My RV Works and Hillbilly RV.
It
Yep.
does.
It does.
Okay.
Okay.
21
I just
watching.
logged in, so I'm one of those 21.
Oh.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm watching it too. Sorry, I'll get out.
Okay, cool. Well, hello, everybody.
Hey.
This is not a test. This is the real thing. The Hillbillies from West Virginia and the My RV Works crew.
We almost, as you know, we almost ended up in West Virginia. I don't know how we ended up in Washington. West Virginia was on our short list.
I know that, and I was gonna have you talk about that. It's on my list.
Okay. I'll be happy to. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely has a little slice of our hearts. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Is $5 Frank still flying, or is he passed on?
He's gone.
But his
Okay.
son is flying.
Oh, yay!
That's fantastic.
Not for $5, I'll bet you.
I bet it ain't $5.
I don't think it's $5 anymore.
Yeah.
But his son, I don't know if $5 Frank did acrobatics with you in the plane, but the son does.
Oh,
No.
that's worth going back for.
No.
Yeah,
Well, y'all come on over.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Hop in the
Yeah.
car, come on over. You'll be here in a few days.
Let's go. Cool.
We stopped too many times. It's going to take us longer than a few
Yeah.
days.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Well, I am a willing resource. Talk to me. Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully you guys have some questions for us tonight. Because Darren's really smart and I'm a hillbilly. So he should be able to answer any questions that you may have.
You've been doing this longer than I have, though.
Hey, Laundryman.
Someone
Good
from
to see you, bud.
Is that where you're from? Louisiana?
Louisiana.
Yeah.
What do you-
So he's a hillbilly, but you're something. I mean, you're down there in the south.
Redneck.
Yeah, you were born in California, raised in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Coon ass. Yeah.
You're not
Oh,
a Cajun, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Debbie. Hi, guys.
Well, Darren, I did want to ask you a little bit about your background, if you don't mind, about some of the jobs that you've had and kind of maybe how it led you to where you are.
I think it's drywall back here. Okay. Yeah, we could go there. I've told this story a bunch of times, so I could do a short version.
This is the recorded version. Can we go back to the live?
You do.
'Cause
Yeah,
that's
you do
totally
you.
messing me
You
up.
do you. Yep. Anne's going to drive. Background. Once upon a time. Oh, we don't need to go back that far. No, it's right. It's hold on. Click that button. Yes. Nope. Click. Nope. And then right over here. Right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the spot. Click that. Click. There it is. Okay. Background real quick. Okay. So was an automation engineer for a very long time. Out of the Marine Corps, I went to college, got my used my GI Bill to go to college. I've got a degree in biology. And Michael Crichton had just written his book, Jurassic Park, in the early 90s. And he was talking in the preface of that book about square plants and all this kind of stuff. And I thought it'd be neat to get a job at a greenhouse, grow square plants. Anyway, so I got a job at a greenhouse. Those of you watching that are in Virginia, this would have been near Culpeper. And it would have been near Culpeper. I'm
gonna leave it up her hand. So let him finish his story, and we'll get.
Okay,
to that.
yeah, this will take. I could probably be done in less than about an hour and a half.
Okay. Should be good.
Yeah.
We want the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah. So I got a job at a greenhouse
Notes.
near Culpeper. It's between Fredericksburg and Culpeper. Really big greenhouse. I don't know what it's called today, but there was a Germanna Community College is where Ann and I met. Okay, right there in Germanna Community College. They just had that one campus at the time, and so that greenhouse wasn't too far from that college. I had a little ratty apartment in Culpeper, Virginia. And so I'd pass by this greenhouse and I'm like, I got to get in there and make square plants. Anyway, they had an ad in a newspaper, handyman wanted, must have electrical experience. And I was a 4.0 college student taking physics and all these weird things. I'm like, I know all about electricity. What do you want to know? And the way the story goes, and it's kind of a funny one, but I was in the Marines at the time, probably in the reserve. So I had a high and tight. I went in there suit and tie, dressed to the nines to get my job interview for a handyman at this greenhouse. And Jimmy was the general manager, and apparently they had an ad in the paper at the same time for like a general manager for marketing or something. And I guess they thought that I was there for that job. And so I'm like, no, I'm here for the handyman job. Oh, you're hired. Here, let me take you on a tour in a golf cart. So this thing was 20 acres of roof, and I'm just like, wow, I can make a lot of square plants in here. But nope, they never let me touch the plants, not one time. But they had gone to a conference and gotten some automation components in a bunch of boxes full of peanuts. And they wanted somebody to install this automation system. Early 90s, this is early X10 technology, power line carrier through the power lines. And anyway, so I did that. I automated that greenhouse, and they've added on to it and all this kind of stuff over the 90s and all this kind of stuff. But when Ann and I were courting each other, I'd say, hey, I got to do some welding and bend some conduit. You want to help me pull some wire? And so most of our dating and courting was at that greenhouse, bending wire, installing conduit, bending the conduit, pulling the wire, welding boxes, building in control cabinets to automate this. Do you remember all that? Yes, she does. And she still married me, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, so I did that. That was my introduction into facilities maintenance, and it was wonderful working at a greenhouse because it was considered a farm, and farms don't have to follow any kind of code. And so I was rubbing elbows with all these master electricians down there in Culpeper at Branch Electric, and they're like, oh man, you're getting to do all this fun stuff. I got to follow all these laws and codes and all this kind of stuff to do electrical work. And I'm just working at a pig farm, and you could just do whatever you wanted out there. But anyway, we did really, really well at that. And so that got me into automation. Did it for about 12, 13 years. We got to do jobs, a couple places up and down the East Coast. We went to Germany and worked a little bit with Siemens over there, Siemens Greenhouse Automation in Switzerland, starts with a B, Belgium, Holland, Germany. So that was kind of exciting. And there was a moment where we were going to move to Dusseldorf and just work very closely with Siemens and automation and greenhouses and stuff. So that's where we meet Darren. Fast forward, bunch of awkward, ugly things happened there. Ended up living in Colorado and automating greenhouses in Colorado. So anyway, there's the whole technical background of what I do today. Okay, so that's why I laid that foundation. Never got to make a square plant, but did get a lot of experience with just good old boy redneck, make it work, make these plants grow, figure it out. Because you can't sell a poinsettia on January 1. You can't sell a poinsettia the day after Christmas. So all these poinsettias got to be ready. They start growing those things like in April or May to get them ready all through Thanksgiving, all through Christmas. And so you're really busy trying to develop environmental climate chambers to give the growers what they wanted. And you're everything. You're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a welder, you're just everything, figuring it out. Anyway, ended up working for Siemens doing airport baggage automation systems, which is a lot of PLC type stuff. So if you're into PLCs or industrial automation, these would be Siemens uses PLCs, which would be the S7400Hs, which is a redundant hot swappable backup. So if you're into PLCs, I sling code on step 7, started at step 5. And then in the early 90s, they switched over to step 7. So I started working on step 7, taught myself all of step 7. Then I learned all the Allen Bradley stuff, the Omron and the Fanuc and all this PLC languages, ladder logic, statement list, all this kind of stuff, taught myself all that. And so by the time Siemens discovered me, I had already been an expert in their step 7 environment and even learned how to hack their know-how protect code. So on a side note, if you're a Siemens PLC guy and you want to learn how to get into those codes and learn how to break their know-how protect, I know the tricks to do that. A guy from Russia taught me that. But anyway, so there we find Darren doing that kind of stuff. So now I'm automating airport baggage systems. We did Buffalo International. That was my baby. And my daughter was born in Buffalo. Missed her first words, missed her first steps, missed her first everything. And so now in Siemens' ultimate gift to me, they wanted to thaw me out from being in Buffalo for 2 years. And so they sent me down to Miami to do Miami International. And our son was almost born in Miami. But I decided at that point, I think Ann and I were deciding like, okay, we've already missed my daughter's first words, first steps, first everything. And you're working 18, 20 hours and your schedule's being shifted days to nights around the airports, come in and out, tying in this ticket counter because the airplanes aren't flying between 2 and 4 in the morning. That's the window of time you've got to tie in this new ticket counter, go back home, get 4 hours of sleep, come back tomorrow because we got migraines, just stress to tie all these systems in. Miami is a 16-mile conveyor belt. I think it's $1 billion. And at the time it was 10 years behind schedule. 9/11 kind of messed it all up. So you're building a highway with all these cars on it and you can't stop the traffic, but you got to build interstates and everything. So that was life in the conveyor belt industry at airports. So coinciding with my son's birth, I kind of resigned from Siemens and to go be a dad and change diapers and learn how to automate a diaper changing system. And I'm still working on that. Anyway, when we go back to Buffalo, working for Siemens, they give you the per diem to stay on the airport properties. And, so most of the engineers are staying at the Hyatts and Marriotts and all this kind of stuff. And I think we got the idea, well, let's just get an RV and stay in an RV park out of town. And so we did that. And so we bought an RV in 2007. It was something we were just going to live in and throw away. And we fell in love with RVing and fell in love with the RV campgrounds. And so it was an easy decision for me when I resigned as an engineer just to stay RVing. Yeah. And I've got some plans to automate RV campgrounds and plans to automate RVs all the way from when I started doing it in 2007. So that's the idea of our T3 interface business, is for me to start playing around with some of those ideas.
Right.
We'd been living in the RV about 5 or 6 years at this point, started to fall apart. I thought an RV was a place you go to sleep, eat, use a bathroom, make food, make babies. And never once did I consider doing any maintenance at all to this thing. And the furnace is squealing. The lettuce is freezing my eggs and my lettuce were freezing in my refrigerator. The water heater wasn't ever getting hot. There was all kinds of problems happening with this RV after 5 years. So I took my list. We're back up in Buffalo, took my list to a dealership in Buffalo. And I don't know, I don't have anything against some of the service writers and some of the dealerships, but I was not impressed with the individuals that were presented to me from the dealership that I was supposed to give my home to and let them fix it. They looked more like criminals or thieves or thugs. And I just wasn't really impressed, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving my home with this dealership and with these particular people for like a month. And I was supposed to move out and get a hotel while they're fixing all my stuff. The decision was, when I'm walking back out in the parking lot, if these guys know how to fix this RV, I'm going to tear this up. And so I took a little online course, fixed my RV, got it working, got my furnace. It was a furnace motor, and the refrigerator, the thermistor was not set right. So I had to set my thermistor. That little wire on the Dometic fell down, so it was in nuclear or freeze mode. I slide that back up. Now the refrigerator's working. Oh, the air conditioner didn't work. Well, that just needed a good cleaning because the whole evaporator was just so full of cat hair. Such a simple things.
Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward. Too late. But learned how to fix my RV. The campground we were staying at said, well, hey, Darren, why don't you go fix their RV? Hey, Darren, why don't you go fix their RV? Hey, Darren, why don't you fix their RV? And anyway, met a mobile RV service guy at the campground, and he said he was happy doing what he was doing. He's able to do it with his family, and that's all I ever wanted to do. So kind of figured out how to start a mobile RV service. I had this seed in my mind, and I worked at a dealership in Texas. They started me out at $13.87 an hour.
What year was that?
That would have been in 2011. So 2011, I worked at a dealership in Texas for $13.87 an hour, doing PIDs. No, PDIs. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Yeah, pre-delivery inspections. Didn't know what end of the RV to start at. I didn't know anything, and I'm the PDI tech on day one, and got really good at doing PDIs. And then the guy that does a PDI is the one that does the walkthrough with the customer, and I'd have these Texas oil men buying these big $1 million RVs, and like, well, what does that do? I have no idea. Well, I'm not taking a possession of this RV until you explain to me what that does. I'm like, yes, sir. And so I'd start reading manuals, and I'd go home because I was scared of these guys.
All you do is just push the button, see what happens.
Yeah, well, none of the coaxes are labeled, none of the light switches are labeled, and then there's things on the wall that don't make any sense, and they want to know what that stuff was, and so nobody in the shop knew, and so I'd start reading manuals, and so I'd go home at night with my manuals, and I'd read the manual, and I'd meet the guy the next morning and answer his question, and I started reading manuals, and it got to the point where there wasn't a single button knob on a Winnebago journey or a Winnebago tour that I did not know what it did, because it was a big Winnebago dealership.
Yeah.
And I knew everything there was about the tours, the journeys, any Winnebago product. I could tell you backwards, forwards, everything about it. And same with the old Monacos and the new Mars, the big fancy ones. And so when they put me in like a simple travel trailer, I thought I had the day off, you know. Learned all about Schwintex and learned how to get the squeakiness out of the power gear, because these people weren't going to take that RV with the squeaky power gear 15-tooth gear thing. Yeah. So I'd come to my bay. I'd spend 3-4 days taking the thing apart. Where is that squeak coming from? Oh, it's coming from here. Oh. The first time I worked on a Schwintex, I think the whole slide room almost fell out because I took all the screws out of it, and I couldn't figure out where the motors were. The whole thing started to fall out, and I'm like, oh. I'm not going to say what I said that day, but it was so learned all about Aqua Hot. We'd have people. We got so good at Aqua Hots that people were coming up from Dallas to work to come have me work on their Aqua system. Yeah, and
that's a messy job.
Yeah. So come up here. I'll do your Aqua. No. Anyway, so we were invited. Our business was invited to move up here to Washington, and so we thought about it for a year, prayed over it for a year, you know, because we were doing good in Texas, but 110 degrees is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And so we got involved. One of the dealerships up here contacted us and said, we'd love to have you move your business up here, and what is it going to take to get you to move up here? And so we were going to be moving to West Virginia, but we moved up here, and it's nice when you move into a new location where you're kind of invited. And so that's how we ended up here. We moved up here in the end of 2016. And we've relocated a few times within Washington to where we are now. And we finally bought a house. And so anyway, I hope that wasn't too long, but that's kind of the how I ended up here.
All right. Well, Bill King's one of our people, and he's got that question for you. About the Geo cell.
Yep. Oh, when I need to remove it? Two things, a couple things. Depending on how hard it is and what it's on, I would use a plastic chisel that I have put on my sanding belt to make really, really sharp. You also have the plastic razor blades. They're orange. Also, if it's something that I don't really care about marring on the background, I've got that little reciprocating tool with the rigid sharp blade that'll kind of get up underneath it. And then to finish that off, you'll see me use that, what's that product? Adhesive remover. There is a product, it's made by Nason. It'll cause that stuff to shrink up and wrinkle up, but it is really hardcore. I don't like telling people about it. You get it from the paint and body shop, and it's used to cut some of their paints.
It's dangerous.
It's Nason for something. I use that very sparingly, but if you put that Nason product on these sealants, it'll cause it just to shrink up, and you could just take your fingernail and peel it right off. But wow, be very careful with that, because it'll take the finish, the paint, and everything off if you're not really careful. So I don't ever tell anybody about that, and I just did. So yeah,
24 people on our side on the radio or on the restream.
Yeah.
How many of you guys got on your channel?
Oh, is it? I thought it was combined.
Oh, is that the same?
It's the same,
Okay.
yeah.
All the same. We're all together in this now.
We're all together.
James Hatch has a question on slide 2004 Rockwood with a SS. Have no problem going out, but needs a little push to get it in. Would you say the motor is all right? Thanks in advance.
Okay, so let me
I'm trying to find it.
It's at the top.
I got
a
it.
question on the slide. Redwood. Okay, with an SS. What's SS?
Yeah, that's what I didn't know.
Schwintex, maybe? Let's assume it's a Schwintex.
Too many S's.
Yeah, I need to know what the SS is. Have no problem going out, but need a little push to get it in. What would
There
you
it is.
say?
It's on the screen now.
Okay, he's ready.
Okay, so if it, let's say SS is Schwintech and it's going out okay and not coming in, I would lubricate that thing. I am serious. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on Schwintech repair jobs and the track right above those little spline gears is dry. And you've got a little plastic shoe that glides inside of there, lubricate it. And not only lubricate that, but I did a Class B van one time that had a Schwintech in it. And it turns out that where that one was getting hung up is all the way on the bottom. There was a big sheet of fiberglass, which was the bottom of the slide room that was going in and out. And they had like a wiper seal that was rubbing across the whole bottom of that fiberglass. And it turned out that that rubber wiper seal was giving too much resistance when it was coming in. So same product I've always used at CRC with Power Lube, Teflon. I just took a rag, squirted it, and wiped that whole fiberglass down, and that fixed everything. So try lubricating your tracks and see if that doesn't help it. But no, I would not assume the motor right away. I would not.
We'll put the products in the comment section.
But I would like to know specifically what the SS is. I'm thinking Schwintech, but if it's something else, then we might have a different answer for you.
Are you guys in a soundproof
No,
room?
we're not in a soundproof room, Bill. We're actually in an office.
A panic. It looks like a panic room
A
or
panic
something.
room.
It's actually soundproofing.
It's in an undisclosed location.
Yes, it's
Yes.
soundproofing in an undisclosed location. That is correct. Yes.
Where we have internet.
Yes.
Jeff Steele has a question. Does anyone know if a 2007 Western Alpine coach has an OBD port? Where?
No.
Everywhere under the dash.
I would doubt that any of these RVs have OBD ports. I would doubt any OBD2 ports. I would doubt that any of them would. I would say no, none of them do.
Oh,
And you said 2007, I would say no,
Yeah.
especially no at 2007.
SS was Super Slide.
Super slide.
It's a rack system.
Super slide. What's a
Yeah,
rack
it's
system?
a rack system.
Yeah. Yeah. He
I
says,
still lubricate it. Yep, I'd lubricate it. Before you do anything, just lubricate it with Teflon. See if that does everything.
I like all these people prepared.
Frank, the reason it's saying it's showing Restream is because we are actually on Restream, so we could connect our
The two channels.
two channels. We had to use Restream to connect them,
Yeah.
and that's why it's saying Restream.
Yeah, you're watching on YouTube, but yeah, it says Restream.
No, Dawn.
We're on Restream, but we're restreaming to YouTube. But Restream is the app that's allowing us to
do that.
be together.
Yeah. And Don Davis says he wants to thank Kenny for helping him buy the right dinosaur igniter board for his furnace.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he didn't have a fan control board. He had a UIB. Yeah,
UIBS or UIBL?
UIBS. I
Yeah.
never bought the large. I always bought the small.
Yeah. I've got a few of those.
Yeah, I figured he had a fan control.
Fan 50 plus pins. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he said no.
Wow. So it's got an extra. He must have a relay on it. A
Yeah,
separate relay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's got the delay relay, fan delay relay. Did you ever deal with
Okay.
Did you ever
Here,
deal with
we're gonna do a quick little switch. The camera's gonna stay, but you're gonna see some activity.
Okay.
Okay. Up.
There's the switcheroo.
Yeah. Brent Sharp, ODB over $3. That's deleted. For sure, RVs are commercial.
ODB over $3. That's deleted for sure. RVs are economical. Yeah, probably. I don't even know if I guess the newer ones have them, but I don't know. I don't do that type of work, so I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I don't do any chassis work on motorhomes at all. Gold.
Because the comments up there are like a lot bigger,
Yeah.
and I'm not seeing like this does not have all the comments. So I don't know. You let me know.
Okay, I'm just talking. I'm trying to make my hair look good.
You're good. What we're doing on our side, Trisha, is we're actually highlighting comments and putting them up for Darren to read or us to read.
Yeah.
And so that's why you're not seeing them all. They're not seeing them all. We've just been highlighting the questions and stuff that have been popping up.
Okay, just change that. Okay, I got this one here. Keystone Raptor. Okay, just changed out my AC about 45 minutes ago. The old one wasn't cooling and the new one isn't cooling either. Compressor isn't getting hot. How do I diagnose the board? Air conditioner. Okay, instead of telling us that you got a 22 Keystone Raptor, that doesn't help either of us with helping you out. What we need to know is what kind of air conditioner you have. Coleman, Dometic, that's what matters. So you said you swapped out your AC. Let us know what kind of AC that was. If it was a Coleman, it's going to be very easy to diagnose that thing. If it's a Dometic, a little bit more difficult. So let us know what kind of air conditioner you just swapped out, and then we can help you. Because the 20 Raptor, that doesn't help us.
It's a Coleman Mach 10.
Okay, perfect. On your Coleman Mach 10, outstanding. You want to take this one, Kenny? Or you want me to roll with it?
Or did he switch out? Yeah. Did you take a Coleman out and put a Coleman back? Or
no, that's a question you put up there. I mean, I could take a stab at answering this one. You want to go for it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a second part here. Let me find it real quick.
It's right there. You've got it. You've already got it up.
Yeah, but there was a second part.
It's right there.
Oh, Coleman Mach.
10. Yeah.
Yeah. Golden Hawk, did you take a Coleman out and put a Coleman back, or did you take out a Dometic and put in a Coleman?
He said yes, sir.
That seems to be a problem thing, or a common theme, and I don't know why people want to do that, because they just make things really hard on themselves. Because the two are wired completely different from the coach to the air conditioner, completely different. Yes, sir, you did. So you did switch out a Dometic for a Coleman. You got a lot of rewiring to do.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to come up with a DC power source, a DC ground.
New thermostat.
Your furnace wires are not.
Yeah.
Well, so you took out Dometics.
Oh, Coleman to Coleman.
Wait a minute. Dometic to Coleman.
Wait.
Coleman to Coleman. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's easy. Just pull the cover off the board, get your meter out, see if you got power going to the compressor.
Your compressor's gonna be the yellow wire. Check your yellow wire at the control board at that air conditioner. You should have 12 volts on that yellow wire. If you don't, put 12 volts on that yellow wire and your compressor should start.
Come on. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. Okay, good. At least you went Coleman to Coleman.
Yeah.
Colemans are my favorite to troubleshoot because you've got 12 volts coming in on those pins, and the thermostat does all the thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you're probably a little bit different than that, Darren. If I think a control box bad, it takes less time to switch a control box than it does to test it. So I usually just put a board, put a new J box in it. If it works, great. Go down the road.
Okay.
See, I'm not an engineer though.
Yeah.
I don't think like an engineer.
Need to go back to Hector Quintanilla. Yeah, he had a question.
All right. What is your take on using lithium batteries in travel trailer compared to AGM, lead acid sealed? And I don't know. It just depends on how much you dry camp. The lithium batteries has more storage. And if you don't dry camp all the time, don't waste your money on lithium. Just go.
I would agree with that.
Acid.
Did you have it?
But now if you go to the desert every winter and spend 6 months in the desert dry camping, yeah, man, lithium might be the way to go.
I would agree with that. Yeah. There's a lot of folks that put all these big fancy batteries in and they're always plugged into shore power. If you're going to put a lithium battery in, you also have to change out your converter.
Yeah.
So the converter knows that it's charging lithium and it's not charging lead acid. I'm a fan of the water-filled lead acid because that's something you can maintain. You can put water in it. You know, it's something you can service, but these maintenance-free ones, you can't really put water in them. And if you charge them too fast, you're gonna swell your case because they can't gas off.
Yeah.
You could buy a bunch of lead acids for the cost of one lithium.
Yeah. Yeah. Just depends on how you use an RV.
That's correct.
Yes. And it just completely depends on that. Speaking of furnaces, I'm redoing a 71 Chinook. I've replaced all the appliances.
Oh man.
Replaced the old furnace. I don't know. Disassembled, see if the firebox is in good shape. Firebox in good shape, use it. Because that's probably going to be a way better furnace than you could get today.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a that's gonna be an old Atwood or an old Hydroflame?
I bet it's a Hydroflame.
Being that old, it's gonna be a Hydroflame. Yeah.
71 model. Does it even have a fan? Does it have a circulation fan? Like for the room air? A lot of those old furnaces didn't.
Predates you. It doesn't predate me, but it predates.
2 years.
Yeah. Definitely predates Trisha.
Yeah. It's you're probably like me. You're getting a lot of customers now where y'all don't speak the same language. You know, I get these young people and I make some reference or saying, well, back in 2000, this is how it was done. And they look at me like I'm stupid because they're probably born in 2010,
Yeah.
Yep, Brent, see, you nailed it, man. You nailed it. Just exactly what Darren and I both said.
All right, what's up next?
Oh,
We keep switching computers.
Don't worry.
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Wow.
Why would the bedroom lights flicker when I plug my phone into the USB hub port?
Okay, why would my bed lights flicker when I'm plugged? Okay, so I've seen that before. Here's a couple things you could try. Get a wall wart where you plug it into AC and then your phone charger plugs into that and see if that causes your bedroom lights to flicker. It very well could be you're going DC to DC and you're going to get some ripple coming from the phone charger back feeding in. It's not supposed to do that, but I have seen that problem before. And so the fix has been one of several things. One, if you have AC, now if you're plugging it into your DC cigarette lighter type thing, means you're not going to have AC, but try to diagnose this thing, plug it into like the AC wall wart and then plug your phone into there. Another thing is you could start, see if I was there, that'd be a fun thing to do. That's where I take my AM radio and start walking around inside the RV, listen for different static things, and then start pulling fuses and seeing where your noise on your radio goes away. It could be, so just start plugging things in. But if you go to some of my really old videos, you might notice my audio was just going really, really bad. And that was because the phone I was using was dying, and I would plug the phone into DC while I was recording, and then my audio went to crap. And so then I learned I couldn't be charging my phone the same time I was recording my phone, using my phone to record.
I didn't know that.
Even if it was on a battery pack. So there's some kind of interference with the phone being charged that was causing some kind of backfeed. We saw it in some of my earlier videos. We've since fixed all that. And but I have seen that on some of these RVs. And it's just these little, I don't know, lowest bidder type adapters they put in. They don't have any kind of chokes or filters in them when these little DC charge ports. So you can upgrade those to a little bit better ones. They make the kind where you've got the round cigarette lighter plug, and then there's this little small DC adapter. You plug into that, and then you have your little, your phone plugs into there, and then a little small cigarette looking deal that plugs in. There's some choking going on inside of there that'll help take that out. Yeah. But yeah, I have seen that.
Hey, I got one for you, Darren.
Uh-oh, I'm scared.
A few months ago, I installed a brand new Dometic FreshJet air conditioner.
Okay.
Everything worked. I did not change the controls at that time. Everything worked great for a couple months. Then got to where the air conditioner, the thermostat would be satisfied. The air conditioner shut off. but when it should have come back on, it wouldn't come back on. And it was very, very sporadic in the beginning. Then it got worse and worse. So then I changed the control box, changed the control box and the thermostat. Same thing. I checked for AC ripple. There's no AC ripple coming from the converter. And I can't figure that one out. Any ideas?
Well, thanks for calling. We ran out of time, sir. Okay.
Good answer, Darren. Good answer.
Yeah. The next caller, please. Sorry.
Oh, that one hung up. Here, let me get you another one.
Yeah. So it's an intermittent problem with this air conditioner. It'll satisfy.
It's
We
pretty.
see this on furnaces all the time too.
I know. That's what I told him. I said, we don't see this with air conditioners. This is a furnace problem. Because I did all the normal furnace things. I had him pull the thermostat off the wall, stuff the hole full of toilet paper, and leave the hanging. No change. When I checked the converter for AC ripple, I just went in and stuck a new converter in there because I thought maybe it was something that was happening. At certain times. No change. I even put another thermostat when I went back to get my converter. I put his old converter back. I had another thermostat and I changed thermostat. No change. And I don't know what it is. Dometic says that it was AC ripple or a bad thermostat. Well, it's neither one of those.
All right. So one thing I would have you do or have the customer do is turn off all while it's doing this. If they can live this way during diagnosis time, turn off every single AC circuit breaker in that RV except for that air conditioner and see if it doesn't work perfectly. Because it could be a ballast in a LED light.
All LED lights.
Okay, I've seen people, they would have added a fluorescent light over their sink, and that's causing the ripple in it. I mostly see that on refrigerators, though.
You've seen it. You've seen interference problems with LED lights.
Sometimes LEDs will do it, mostly with fluorescence. But yeah, there was a couple LEDs that came through that on the DC side, they were causing terrible problems. You switch out the whole fixture and the problem went away.
Really?
Yeah.
Because this is just camper's only 5 years old, so it's full of LED lights.
Yep.
Okay. So Laundromat Adams, that's Bill. He's a mobile tech also.
Yay.
Yeah, he still is.
in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah,
He
what do you
just
guys
started.
see if any issues with the air conditioner insert to eliminate the dump feature? I made mine and it made it quieter for sure. I've heard good things about that. What's that thing called? It's
Divider?
Well, you put it up in the air conditioner and it changes the flow of the air, changes the plenum. You put a plenum up in the air conditioner, and I don't know. I've heard good things about them.
I don't know.
I haven't installed one or seen one yet, but I hear good things.
Okay.
So, we'll see you now. When you went on that rant, you answered a lot of the questions I had for you on this piece of paper.
Don has a question.
I could tell my West Virginia story.
Well, let's see what Don's got to say here
We
first.
got a lot of questions still.
I was using an amp meter on the purple wire compressor air conditioner to determine the amount of freon. Well, I'm typically looking for around 11 amps.
Yep. What was the question?
I don't know.
Where we at?
How does using amp meter on the purple wire of the compressor of the air conditioner determine the amount of freon?
I'm not going to say it's going to determine the amount of freon. It's going to determine how hard that compressor is working with respect to ambient temperature and altitude and humidity.
Yeah,
not so much humidity. Humidity isn't going to play into that.
It is also a pretty good indicator how much freon's in the system, because if it's barely working, it's pulling 5 amps. There's not much, and I'm talking about typically 80 degrees, a lot of humidity, like it is in the summertime. If it's pulling 5 amps, it ain't got no freon in it.
Okay, I see where you're going. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, and if it's around a few years ago, each model of air conditioner, you would get an amp draw and the intake and exhaust air temperatures. You call Dometic or Coleman, whichever one you was working on, with the model number, and they tell you exactly how many amps it should be pulling.
Yes.
But anymore, of course, you can't talk to them. But I'm just generally looking for around 11 amps on a hot, humid day. If it's got a whole lot less, it ain't got no freon in it. If it's got more than that, you probably got a bad compressor.
Yep. That's perfect.
Yep.
All right. There's a bunch of people that have said hello. And we've got Friar RV Repair has joined us from Southport, North Carolina.
Yay.
Hey, it's
Hi,
great
Charles.
to see the two of us, or the two of you. I understand your rate differences. Could you tell us why you choose flat rate or charge hourly rate?
What do you charge?
I am mostly hourly. There are some things. Actually, most of the stuff that I would do flat rate, I don't do anymore because I'm not doing any more air conditioner replacements. I'm not doing any more awning replacements or arm replacements.
I don't even.
Refrigerator replacements. Anything that's a two-man job, I'm not doing anymore. But those things, pretty much after you've done it for 25 years, you pretty much knew what you were going to get into. So I'd flat rate that. But everything else, I pretty much do by the hour, unless somebody really wants to nail me down to some kind of price, and then I will overprice it and tell them there's how much it'll probably be. So, but I know you're flat rate, right?
We use flat rate. Yeah, we pay the $400 to get the Spader manual, and I go through all 7,000 items, and I say, okay, chassis stuff right out, tanks out, bodywork out.
Tank.
You know, so I think there's like maybe 1,200 items out of there that I do kind of look at. So flat rate to me, because when you're good, you're going to be able to get in and get out within 30 minutes. And the flat rate might say it pays an hour.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten into situations where because you're good, because you got the tools, you got the knowledge, you got the expertise, you can get in and out and diagnose. I can tell you what's wrong with your furnace within 30 seconds of listening to it run. I might not be able to pin exactly what the problem is, but I know what it's not. I kind of know where to look for things. And so for me to diagnose a furnace, I'm going to charge a flat rate of 1.0.
Right.
And so the customer just knows it's not so much an hourly rate. It's a task time.
Right.
You want me to diagnose your furnace? It's going to be a 1.0 task time. It's going to take me 30 seconds to figure that out. So if I was an hourly, then I'm actually losing money because you're like, we're only here for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, so I got away from I don't even use the terminology hourly rate at all. I don't want that in my customer's brain. I don't want people to think it's an hourly rate. It's a task time.
Right.
So if I'm good, if a technician's good and they've got the tools and knowledge, then the analogy I give to my customers is like a water pump on a car. Let's just say that my Ford whatever year, my 2015 Ford F350, let's just say the water pump takes an hour to swap out. You're going to pay an hour. The tech's going to make an hour. The shop's going to charge you an hour.
Right.
But if that technician's really, really good and they've been to school, they bought the $80,000 Snap-on tool to get that thing out, they'll get that water pump in and out in 30 minutes.
Right.
They're still going to make their hour.
Yeah.
And so that's how the mechanic can go to the shop and punch the clock for 40 hours a week, but come home with 80 hours in pay because they kept beating the flat rate.
Yeah. Well, so you're a lot smarter than I am, mostly. I
don't know about that. You've been doing this a lot longer, but it just sets everybody has expectations. When I walk up, they know. I give estimates all the time. Like, well, how much a lady wanted me to do something the other day, and I was able to pull it up on my phone and say, okay, well, the flat rate to do that was $387. So it just, by flat rate, I multiply the flat rate by our shop rate, and there it is. And we get all that from Spader,
right,
which just makes it be an industry standard. That's what it should charge. So that's why we do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Brent, well, thank you, bud. We cooked up this idea a few weeks ago, and I think it's working great.
And I don't know, Darren, if y'all are seeing it or not. When I started fixing RVs, I subscribed to both you and AZ Expert.
Yeah.
Now, a few years later, 2 of the 3 are on my TV.
When I highlight them, it goes right there.
Excellent. Good deal.
I always have
Having the medic double.
fuse on the back of the refrigerator.
I'm reading one of these.
Which fuse? The DC or AC?
Yeah, if it's a glass fuse, I'd say it's AC. I'd say check the ohms of your heating element when it's at room temperature. It sounds like your heating element might be bad.
Yeah, you're right. The glass fuse is only on AC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So check your heating element. Again, we got manuals on our website. You can pull up your refrigerator, go to the service manual on it, and you can get the wattage and ohms and amps that it should be, plus or minus 10%. And I've come across, it's not every time, but I have come across where the wrong wattage heating element was inserted into that refrigerator. It's like some shop somewhere just stuck a heating element in it, didn't even try to get the right spec on it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I never
I've never
assumed that
seen
what's in
that.
it is the right
I've never
one.
seen that, Darren.
You've never seen that?
No.
Yeah,
All right.
it's always done right.
All right, Rob Ward, we're the wrong guys to ask. We don't, neither one of us do chassis work on motorhomes. So sorry.
Yep. Yep.
That's,
Call a mechanic.
yeah. Call.
Yeah, it's a whole other discipline, a whole other set of tools, a whole nother getting rid of the oil,
No,
busted
not-
knuckles, creepers. Yeah, it's just a
And
whole
not-
nother discipline.
Not the kind of thing campgrounds want you doing in their campground.
That's right. Big impacts to get the big lugs off.
Yeah.
Jacks. No, we're not doing that.
Brent Sharp.
And I don't work on. I don't even work on generators anymore because it's just the whole hassle of getting rid of the oil, carrying all the different fuel filters, air filters. It's just not worth stocking all that stuff. And then it's a whole nother set of mechanics tools just to get the spark plug out and all that. And yeah, I don't even do those anymore.
I used to, but not anymore.
Yeah,
I haven't done chassis work on motorhome for probably 15 years.
Yeah, it's a whole nother discipline. Yeah.
Well, Tim, well, good luck, bud. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have for the last 25 years owning your own mobile service.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been good to me. Don't make a lot
Yeah,
of money.
remember to put the oxygen on you so you can replenish yourself.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, because you got to do a lot of things you won't do later on in your career.
Yeah. Yeah. I can say until Trisha joined us, I was really burning out.
Yep.
And I was really considering just getting out of the thing because it would just, I didn't have the balance, the life, work, family balance dialed in. And it just, the business totally overtook me. Never had a day off, working 7 days a week, even I'm in the field or in the office, and I was burning out.
Yep.
So if you find that happening, it is worth getting a good person on board that is organized, that does have a pleasant personality, that can do all those phone calls and all the texting and all that customer relation stuff. Not that I don't like doing it, but I don't think you could do it all. When you're in the field working, somebody else could be in the office. It could be your wife. It could be another person to help plan and manage everything. So when you come home, you're home. You can watch a movie, play with the kids.
What did they do? Because I don't even know his wife's. I just know you're Hillbilly Harvey's wife. I don't even.
Mrs. Hillbilly.
Anyways, I know
Yes.
you told us her name. But
Hillbilly.
you know, what did they do? Because she works. That's where they're at right now.
Yeah.
So does he do it all himself?
Oh, did you hear Trisha's question?
Yes.
You got to type it into the comments.
Yep.
You-
No, I am a one-man show. I do it all.
oh man.
Even-
Yeah, I was burning out.
Even all the
I was burning
YouTube stuff. Yeah. And then people want to.
Was that?
They still have kids that are young. I
We've
think
got
that's
young
part of it.
teenagers.
We don't.
Yeah.
No.
Our kids are gone. We have 7 grandchildren, and they're
Oh wow.
2 different states, and we very seldom have kids. So,
No.
yeah. But I had to work to have insurance for us.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
So I've worked my whole career. I have been.
She's always had a real job, but then I do the mobile RV stuff.
He's had a good job, but I've been the one that always footed the insurance and things like that because we are self-employed.
Yep.
This business is self-employed, and so it was hard for us to get insurance.
Sure.
But I'm
Oh, that's
fixing to
important.
cut back too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a good segue because Trisha, one of the questions I had for you, I thought you were going to be on the screen. So pop over on the screen for a minute. I wanted to get an idea of what you did for My RV Works.
Oh, here we go. This is a good question.
Don't go far, Ann, because I got a question for you too.
Okay, cool. Here, you will sit here. Okay.
So
It's kind of funny actually when they so we went to church together, and so we knew each other from there, and then they both asked, would you be interested in helping us out? And it seems like so long ago, but I'm pretty sure that like what I got hired to do, I didn't end up doing. I think that what they wanted me to do was to help out with Anne
Yeah.
to take,
That is correct.
so that she could get out of the parts part. But for somebody who's never been in an RV, doesn't know anything about the industry, to like look up parts and have any idea how to do that, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I don't know how exactly, but
I know how.
Do you? I first started scheduling, processing the service request.
I remember exactly how you ended up doing that.
Because you showed me how to do it and I did it.
No, I have a little bit of dyslexia. If you watch any of my videos, you'll see, and I made a couple mistakes, get my Tuesdays and Thursdays mixed up. Yeah. And I had all these customers calling me very upset that I hadn't shown up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to be there tomorrow. No, you're supposed to be here yesterday or whatever that was. And I called the office and I said, ladies, I made a big mistake. I think it affected like 10 total customers or something like that. I'm like, could you?
Oh yeah, because the two, anyways.
Yeah. And so both you ladies cleaned up that mess. And I think you had come to me and it's like, well, Darren, do you want me to do your scheduling?
Mm-hmm.
And I basically said, no, it's too complicated. You'll
never figure it out.
You'll never
It's
figure it
way
out.
over your head.
Yeah, you got to stay out of that part of town at 3 o'clock because the shipyard lets out. And you don't want to make a left-hand turn on this road, and you're going to schedule me all messed up. I'm going to be all over. But I let you try it. I was blown away. Only right-hand turns, and you've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So
That's how it started.
Started processing the service request.
So I hijacked her I kidnapped her from Ann's department over to my department.
Never returned.
Never returned. I ain't let her go. No.
And your title is business manager? Is that your title?
Office manager.
I don't know
Office
what.
manager.
No, it's not. Is it? I don't
Office
know.
manager.
Those title things.
Well, you got to have a title on your desk.
I have a title. Customer.
Well, I think it was Happy Camper Ambassador for a while. We had fun. We had fun with the names.
Oh, that's cool.
Coordinator, scheduling. I think I've got it in my signature. It's something like scheduling and customer relations or something like that.
Yeah.
If you call or reach out, carrier pigeon, text message, email, anything, it's going to her.
Okay.
There's no way to get a hold of me. We put a wall around Darren. It all goes to Trisha, and so she's the one
like
that
a prima donna now.
Yeah. I sleep in, eat bonbons, and but the only person I answer my phone for is either Ann or Trisha. I think my parents are upset because one time they tried to get a hold of me, they kept getting Trisha. Like the only people I answer the phone for.
Who are you?
Yeah. And no, and so that helped me not be burned out anymore.
Yeah. Well,
thank you.
Yeah. Let's look at Steve's question real quick. Replacing the original appliances in the 73 Coachman. That's a lot of money. I mean, you didn't pay much for the coach, so I guess you got some money to spend on all new appliances.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. If the old ones work, I'd keep them.
Yeah.
I'd seriously keep them. I think it was the only question I had for you, Trisha. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I was trying to get out, but Ann was like, "No, just stay there."
She and I are introverts, and we're always on camera.
Oh, it took to my shirt.
Do you see Lee Cook? Do you have Lee Cook?
James Hatch. Sometimes my dramatic.
Can I explain my dilemma?
Okay, Ann's going to explain your dilemma.
Okay, so yes, I am an extrovert.
She's an extrovert.
But,
and Trisha and I are introverts.
And that is why I can't look at that screen, because that screen is not moving. There's no interaction. There's no
it's beautiful
body language. And so that's why if you see me, I'm constantly looking at him or the live, because we had to switch it back because I'm looking at you, your eyes, your facial reactions.
That fancy beard.
Yeah, I can't see too much of your body language. But yeah, I'm more of a body reader or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I need feedback, and the camera doesn't feedback, so I struggle with that. Like, What? It's not doing
I'm going
anything.
to put one of those
so-
wavy high signs on it.
I
Yeah,
only,
like googly eyes.
I only have a 17-inch computer, so you can't get my body in that.
All right, what was your question? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hang on there just a second. I'll get to you in a minute, Ann. James says
Okay.
sometimes my domestic AC fan will stop, but you can hear the compressor still run. Fan comes back on, just happens randomly. It may
SD1
changes,
thermostat?
it might just be changing speeds.
Yeah. Is your thermostat this little square box that's got like 3 little buttons on it called a Dometic SZ1 thermostat? Single zone? Because we got a video on that exact problem right there.
Well, there you go.
Like, just like you said, it's changing speeds.
Yep. Go watch Darren's video. Look that up. It'll answer your questions.
It's under our air conditioner playlist.
There you go. My Carefree slide cover is no longer retracting when I put the slide in. I'm thinking the spring broke. Appreciate the insight. Chances are, yes, the spring did break or something's hung up.
Yeah.
Yep. Need to do a little investigating.
And if you do, be careful.
On most of your Carefrees, you're going to see a QR code. You can take your camera, your phone, and take a picture of that QR code. That'll bring up the web page on Carefree of Colorado for all your information on that awning, and you can get parts. So look for a little QR code on your awning, and just take a picture of it with your phone, and that'll open up the Carefree Colorado page for your awning or your slide topper.
And Bob says, I'm thinking about changing my black and gray water valve with electric. I see the electric have nylon clear plastic. Do the electrics last longer than the wire ones? Probably not. They're going to have issues as well. There's a lot of moving parts in the electric waste valve. The cable ones, you got a valve, you got a cable. We got 2 moving parts. So.
Yep. We put an electric on one of ours. So I got tired of replacing the cable. Is it still working?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we put electric on ours years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Still working.
Well, there you go, Bob.
Okay, that's good to
I
hear.
push the button.
Yeah.
There you go,
As long as
Bob.
that button works, closes, I hear it go.
Yeah.
Well, I have not worked on a lot of electrics, but I just think most of the RVs we see don't have a lot of electrics. So
It's always been an add-on.
Yeah. Oh, has
it's
it?
tangled up in here.
Yeah, my experience with the pull ones is the seals. You have issues and they dry rot real quick, and the little pull handles, sometimes they break, or sometimes you're yanking really hard and you whack your hand, or those are my experiences.
I'll leave it
So
there.
I like the electric ones. The button's so much
Push the
easier.
button.
You listen for it. Again, it's that body reaction.
She needs feedback. Yeah.
I always have to have the feedback.
Lee Cook is a 55-year-old who's thinking about getting into RV repair, and he wants to know, what do you think about that? I seem to really like to work around and other people around me.
That really depends on your
Of
health.
course.
Your health, because you're 55 already.
I'm 56.
Yeah.
Working for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we
We
didn't
all
start at
on our
55 though.
Trisha and I did a whole series, and we're working through a whole series on how to build, start, maintain, and operate your own mobile RV service business. So maybe that might be something you want to check out.
Yeah.
We do go through quite extensive information that people might want to know on what to do, how to start it.
Well, and I definitely want to hear what Kenny has to say too, because I think there's some variables there. But we do have one of the gentlemen that was on earlier that popped into the stream. I want to say he's like 80 and doing RV repair work. So I think sometimes the question is like, if I'm X age, am I too old? And maybe Kenny, you were going to speak to this, but I mean, there may be things you can't do anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
or that you don't want to do.
Well,
Like climbing up on roofs.
well, I still do it, but they're just. I had some heart issues a year ago, and I just want to slow down a little bit. I'm tired of working 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back to 40.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to cut back. But I worked with some people because I've always worked more than one job up until the last 5 or 6 years. So I worked with people that were the same age as me, but they were in a lot better shape than me. They were more flexible. They were stronger. So the guy that's 55 that's wanting to start a mobile service, man, if you're a really young 55, go for it. But if you're a really old 55, you might be past your prime. just say it.
I would say do the jobs that you want to do that are not so physically, and again, set your hours. You're self-employed, so you get to dictate, you know, like Kenny, you said you want 40 hours, so make it happen.
Yep.
Quit working the 80, 90 hours. So
I wish I could learn that.
I wish you could learn that. Yeah.
You're in charge of your calendar. You got to make it happen.
He is. It's crazy.
I had a heck of a day today. I was wide open all day. I got home. I run in the back door. I just derobed, jumped in the shower, got cleaned up. We jumped in the truck, got something to eat, and come sliding in here and turn the computer on. So
awesome.
Been that way all day long.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting redressed.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't have pants on, but you can't tell.
I don't want to know.
Yes, he does. Hector says this is great Q&A session. Hope you do these periodically. And Dawn says it's amazing how Darren and Kenny work so differently, but are able to fix and figure out the issues of RVs. Yeah. YouTube takes a lot of time filming and editing. That's from Dawn.
Yeah, certainly does.
Yeah.
Well, Ann, I got a question for you. What did you think about the mobile RV thing when Darren goes, "Hey, I want to start a new business and I'm going to work on RVs"?
Actually, I think I'm the one that suggested it because he worked at a dealership. And
well, we worked at a dealership because of this idea came, and that's why we went to work at a dealership. But I was at the dealership for a little bit longer than I probably should have, could have, would have been.
Yeah, but anytime he worked on our RV, he would get people like our neighbors. Darren, what about this? What about that? And what about this? What about that? You know, and it just seemed like you started getting side jobs, and we looked at the income of the side jobs versus what you were getting paid at the dealership. And we're like, geez, we could actually do.
I'd make more on a Friday and Saturday working side jobs than I would all week long at the dealership. And they were paying me $25 an hour, and I was making more on a Friday, Saturday side job.
Smart.
Yeah. And
2 days worth of work than 40 hours at a dealership. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In 1996, I went to work for an RV dealer at $5 an hour.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in 1998, he started his business.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah, they started me at $13.87, so I was making more than you.
You were, but it was a little later.
Yeah.
Time too. Well, Ann,
that was easy. Give me another one.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on, you were very involved in the business, and then y'all hired Trisha so you could be less involved. So what are your responsibilities with the business?
Okay, so now when Trisha came on board, I was editing videos, and we have learned to take things off of our plate and hire. So now I'm not even doing the video editing, which I miss, but we're going to be coming out with a whole new drum roll,
please,
education series that I am going to be in charge of and helping create. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I've just kind of reshifted my
parts.
Well, I never actually took over, so that's some of it.
Yeah, but like I still do. We just kind of we literally stopped doing warranty for quite a bit because we kind of took a step back with warranty. So that was quite a bit of work taken off my plate.
So Ann used to be the warranty administrator for our company when we would do warranty. These are extended service plans and dealership warranties. And so Ann was the one making all those phone calls and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, being a bulldog, chasing the rabbits.
What you mean they don't want to pay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the thing that was frustrating me the most, was not getting paid.
She's a former correctional officer. You don't want to owe this chick money.
Yeah.
She will hunt you down.
Yeah. So anyhow,
But you do parts still.
yeah, still do
She
parts.
still does parts. I'll put an order in on what I need, and she knows
Yeah.
she's got relationships with all the vendors to get the parts.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. It's kind of like a love-hate because you spend all this time setting up your wholesale accounts, and now that times have changed so much that the wholesale accounts, there's other vendors that get better prices than our wholesale accounts, and so it's extremely frustrating. Like you spent all this time and you
jump
built
through
all
these
these
hoops and
relationships,
bank
and,
accounts,
yeah.
just to get wholesale pricing, and then Amazon's got it for less than your wholesale price.
Yeah, or Walmart or some other vendor, some other business online that literally deals with the same company that I am dealing with.
Gets a better price.
Yeah.
And they get better prices because we don't have the volume, and I get so frustrated. So little things like that kind of started, and then they changed the part numbers too. That's another thing that frustrates me. But anyhow, those are just some of the highlights that.
And she does our accounts payable, accounts receivable. She works with the CPAs and the business attorney.
And our licenses,
The states.
just all the
So, yeah.
behind the scenes that can, like Washington, I don't know who came up with this whole census thing, but I literally spent probably about 4 hours filling out for two businesses. So someone needed to create a job for something.
Doing this kind of work was so much easier in Texas I think any kind of, find a state that's very entrepreneurial friendly. I would say Washington is not very entrepreneurial friendly. There's just too many hurdles, too many roadblocks, too many taxes, too many regulations, too much everything to be an entrepreneur. We want to hire more people and bless their lives, and there's just so many hurdles to hire somebody. When we had our business in Texas, it was so much easier to just hire as many as you wanted, and the state would support that. But for some reason, you come to this state, and as a business owner, I feel like I'm being penalized because I want to hire somebody and bless their life in a good environment. And yeah, so you need a full-time staff of people just to manage all the taxes and just regulations just to hire somebody. And it's a barrier to being an entrepreneur in this state. But I'm not leaving because I like the climate so much. But we could be doing so much better in another state that doesn't have that's not so antagonistic against business owners. That's for sure.
Well, and
Anyway.
and I have one more for you, and I want you to answer this. I know that y'all almost ended up in Southern West Virginia, but you ended up in Washington State. Would you quickly go over that story?
Sure. West Virginia will always, we had our honeymoon there. So
Where did you
West
go?
Virginia will, River Gorge area.
New River Gorge.
New River Gorge, $5 franc, horseback riding,
Okay.
New River.
rivers. What is it? Rocks, something rocks.
Yep.
Dolly.
That's our
Yeah,
next.
just New River Gorge area. Like we did the
That's
bridge.
cool.
We almost jumped off of that.
Yep, we did a bridge day where they're jumping off the bridge.
Yeah, so Virginia will always, and West Virginia will always have a little slice of my heart there.
We even went there for our first year anniversary. We stayed at Somerville Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Newest
Washington, what was that?
That's our newest state park. They just made it. Silversville is now a state park
Yeah, they just announced that this week.
this week.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we fell in love with West Virginia. Go ahead.
Yeah, West Virginia was just beautiful.
Almost bought property there back in '97.
Yeah, and it took us many, many years, and we're still full-timers. We have a property with a house on it, but the kids are in the house, and we're still in our RV. So, but we just loved Washington. Not only just it was just the climates.
The climate's what keeps me here.
Yeah, and the
But how West Virginia was this question? He was asking about West Virginia.
why not West Virginia?
No,
How did you almost end up in West
how did we almost end up there?
Oh, we loved it. It was the people and the views. Yeah, just 100% loved it. The humidity was a little too much, though. It was like Virginia. The humidity was too much.
Yeah.
And Washington State does not have it. So that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
But you guys will always have a little slice of my heart. There.
Well, y'all
It's
can
definitely
come and
beautiful.
visit anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've got a spare ring. Y'all are more than welcome to come. Bring the kids. We'll find a bunk or something, throw them up in.
oh, that. Yeah, I
Kenny, you're
think.
gonna have to take some time off if we do that.
Yeah, I think for me, we've got a Jeep with the big tires and the winch, and we went to all those coal mines right there near the grist mill. Starts with a K. There was a big mutiny there.
Oh, you went down to Shoot, now I'm drawing a blank.
The big grist mill. It's on everybody's calendar.
Oh, Babcock State
Babcock.
Park.
Babcock, yeah,
Babcock's.
Babcock State Park.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so there's a coal mine down there, and we'd take the Jeep and drive there. And I brought a piece of coal back. Don't tell nobody. But so then we followed the railroad tracks to other coal places, and we all abandoned. And it was kind of like finding ghost towns, and we just loved doing that. We spent like better part of an hour driving to one of them, thinking, oh, this is going to be the best of all. I don't remember the name of it. But we get there, it was a super fun cleanup site, and we didn't get to see anything. It's like, oh man, I wanted to see the old tipples and the old coal things that they just left.
It was pretty impressive though.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I think two things impressed me about West Virginia. Here I'm on a state highway in my Jeep, and the state highway was paved, then it became a gravel road. And I'm looking at the map, it's still a state highway. I'm like, okay. Then it became a little single track with the grass in the middle of it. I'm like, are we on the right road? Still there. Then it became 4-wheel drive, going through the mud. I'm like, I'm still on a state highway. I'm like, I'm moving here. I love that. And I don't remember what towns we were in, but there were some towns where all the little parking spots were painted for little quads and 4-wheelers and enduro bikes. And I'm like, this is my kind of place. I loved it.
Yeah.
And just the people, we went horseback riding, and what a place to go play. It was just the whole state's a playground.
Yep.
And so we felt that'd be a good place to move our business to, because everybody's there to play with the RVs. And had our business not been invited up here, we would have been over there.
Yeah. We'd have been at each other's throats.
Yeah. Oh, watch out for that Kenny guy. He's
we looked at you guys on the map, but where we were going to end up would have been totally different zones. So we wouldn't have been in each other's. We would have been complimenting. We would send you customers.
We would have been near the New River Gorge, Somerville Lake area.
That's where we're at.
I'd put you out of business in a heartbeat. You're going down.
Look.
Okay, maybe we would have.
Golden Hawk found his problem. He had a loose connection at the control board with the AC.
Hey, all right, yellow wire. I'll bet
Way to
you.
go.
Yep.
You just keep looking till you find the problem, Golden Hawk. That's how.
Follow the trail.
Sometimes these computer things, it's a little checkbox. Drives me crazy. So sometimes it's a loose connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here.
Jeff Steele wants to know if while on generator and goes back to supply AC, will this always cause delay that resets your wife's computer, like going back to shoreline power again? Can y'all make sense of that?
I think so. Do you have a automatic transfer switch that keeps the power off for 3 minutes?
That's a good
Sounds
question.
like
Some of those automatic transfer switches, ATS, they'll have a delay. That purpose of that delay is for that air conditioner to bleed off its head pressure, so you don't go from generator to shore or shore to generator. There's always a delay built in, and I've seen transfer boxes burn up and catch on fire because they're arcing, because there's such an inrush to start an air conditioner that has all this head pressure in it.
Yep.
So, but if it's causing her computer to reset, then I would put what is that? Uninterrupted power supply, UPS, on that computer, because there is going to be a little nanosecond of time between when it's on, primary or secondary phase, depending on if it's shore power generator. Even when it's switching, it's called a break before make. So you are going to have at minimum a second, but typically you have a little bit more like a 3-minute delay, and that's enough for your computer to shut down. So an uninterruptible power supply would take that power hit and keep your computer running, is what I would say.
Yeah.
This is for our RV repair.
Yeah.
Yay, our guy Charles, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that one of your guys?
No.
Yeah, he's one of our patrons, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he's the one that said that he.
His wife gets upset when he works too much.
Yeah, I like it. His CEO. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to learn how to not be such a workaholic and just enjoy what we're building. And I needed to balance it more because I was burning out. I really was. Yeah.
Even now, I think you still struggle with it. I think.
Well, now I'm making tools.
It could be he's going to bed and it's like 11 o'clock and he's like, "Hey, babe, what about this idea?" And I'm like,
yeah, I'm still an engineer.
On.
I'm still an engineer. I'm still designing stuff. we've got some real exciting things coming out on our tool product line.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to make some amazing tools, and I'm really excited to do that. And it sparks joy to design things like that. And I don't mind making the first 5, 10, or 15, but then I get tired of making these things.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of find a way to mass produce making this stuff. But I love designing the tools for RV techs, and just I like building stuff.
Yeah, I know you're doing some really cool things with the data recorders.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty awesome.
I got stuff I'm working on now. I think Trisha would not allow me to say, but can I talk about the dashboard?
Yeah, he's been doing. Let me just say
Okay,
this.
I
He's
got
been-
an okay to talk about the
So we
dashboard.
should actually wrap it up because
Oh.
we're gonna hop over to Patreon.
Yeah,
We're
he's been doing things that when we first moved into our very first RV that he talked about, that
So-
he automated, which was awesome. And I'm like, you need to package that and sell it.
So when
hopefully we come full circle and do
yeah,
that
and
here in a
that's
little
I
bit.
think that's the path I took. So we moved into an RV in 2007, and I woke up in an RV this morning. So I've been RVing for about 16 years, waking up in RVs. It's fun because we'll go visit friends in Houston. They got a big house, and their guest bedroom is bigger than my entire RV. And it's just like, what? Anyway, you just learn to live in it. I like it. But when we first got this RV in 2007, I was a big, hardcore, heavy-duty automation engineer, and I automated our RV. And it was just a little fun thing to do. And I always wanted to do more with automating RVs. And, life happens. Life gets in the way. And then, you got to pay the bills. And so we're at the point now with My RV Works where it's a mature company. We're doing well. And that's when we started our T3 interface business and making some tools. The tools we're making right now are simple enough to make where there's enough profit in them where we can kind of start banking some money, because some of the stuff I'm coming out with is a system, just for a name, I'm calling it RV Dashboard. But so if someone calls Kenny or myself to work on their refrigerator, it's like, Kenny, Darren, there's something wrong with my refrigerator or my air conditioner over here. Well, we're going to take our meter and we're going to check our temperature here, do this, do that. And we're like, you got a loose wire, or it's your heating element in your refrigerator. That's what's causing your fuse to blow. So what I'm coming up with now is what I did for 30 years designing stuff. I'm designing them for RVs so that Kenny, Darren, we're going to live inside a little box. Mm-hmm. And you're going to embed that box on your furnace, your water heater, refrigerator, air conditioner, and it's going to be monitoring all these signals 24/7, 365. The same exact points that Kenny or I or any mobile RV service guy or any RV tech would be probing and testing to find out what's wrong with it. And so because of my 30-year background, I bring that to this, and now I know a lot about how these things fail. I know exactly what points to check for what voltage we're looking for, the temperature that should be, the current, the voltage. I know what should be there. So now that I understand that intimately, now I can write a software program, which is my whole background, to write a program to basically monitor the same points that an RV tech would monitor. And it's kind of like that OBD2 port that he was talking about for his RV. We're kind of making an OBD2 for all the appliances in your RV. We're making it wireless, and it's just going to take some time to get that played out. I've got one for a furnace that I'm playing with right now. I'm going to be working on a refrigerator one pretty soon, but they're not ready for prime time yet. The tool we got coming out here pretty soon is going to be that everybody wants to want my 2-second on-off switch, and I've kind of made that really nice and sexy. That should be coming out pretty soon. I'm pretty close to having that one done. It's going to be really cool. And so if you've looked at the trajectory of our T3 interface tools, they started off with my little simple Aquabot box and some LP tap jigs and a little test lead set. Now I've got the permission, thank you, to start going into more of this automation component type stuff where we're going to start doing some data logging built into the stuff. And that's all moving us in the direction of where I was in 2007 when I automated the RV to begin with. And then life gets in the way. But now I think I'm in a better position to do that because I've got, how long have I been in RV tech? 10 years, 11 years, a long time. I know how they fail. I know how to fix them. And so now the automation engineer is going to come back up to the front here and say, okay, step aside, Darren RV tech. Darren engineer is going to come over. And now we're going to start building some stuff. We're going to be slinging some Arduino code, Raspberry Pi type stuff. But we're not using Arduinos and Raspberry Pis. Those are the prototype things because those aren't really industrial, and I need systems that can handle the vibrations, the temperature extremes, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get too technical and bore people, but that's what's exciting me. And yeah, so that's where I'm excited to go with this. And so it's almost like I became an RV technician so I could learn how to be a better engineer so that I could create these OBD2s for RVs. And so if your furnace fails or you're blowing that glass fuse on that refrigerator, you pull up an app on your phone, it'll tell you exactly what the problem is. As if Kenny or I were there taking our meter to test it. Because our little,
he's taking your business, Kenny.
Yep.
That's what he's saying.
I'm putting you in a box, brother.
Hey, that's cool, man.
We're trying to give you less hours, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
On this stuff. Yeah.
Bless more people's lives with it.
Yeah, and there's a much larger business plan to this whole thing, but that's kind of what excites me about it. But and then we can, I don't have to physically be tied here to a leash to working on RVs. I can be traveling all over, going to see West Virginia and go and do the Gauley River again and the New River Gorge and jumping off that bridge.
Yeah, we'd let you jump off the bridge.
You can only
I'm doing a heartbeat.
I didn't do it when we got married. I'm not doing it now.
I'll
you can
jump off
only
the bridge.
jump off of it one time a year, and that's on the third Saturday of October. It's called Bridge
You still call
Day.
it Bridge Day?
Bridge Day, yes.
I love Bridge
only
Day.
day.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we got married October 11th, and we attended one of those, and we just watched a bunch.
I
of
walked
crazy
right up to the
movies.
plank where they're jumping off, and I'm like, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Can I?" And she wouldn't let me. I would have done that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I didn't have life insurance on you.
Okay. Well, now you got life insurance, so I can do it now.
Yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah, James want to know why would the fan speed change randomly? That was the Dometic air conditioner. That's because it changes fan speeds. That's
You'll hear it go high and hear it go low. But I got a video on that. I think in my thing I'm pointing to it. So I know on me I got a video on that SZ1 thermostat, and then in the description of the video I got all your error codes and how to get into manual override mode on those thermostats.
But every time it does something, there's a delay. The fan will cut off. There's a little delay. The fan will come back on a different speed. So there's always everything that thermostat does. There's a delay.
Yeah,
So don't
and the
freak.
compressor stays running.
Yes.
So yeah, but they didn't consult with me when they designed that. They should have, because I would have made it better. But anyway, they didn't consult with me. I never got no memo or white paper or nothing. They just threw it out there and didn't even check with Darren.
Well, I think no one designed the new Dometic air conditioner. The control system. I think it just happened.
Yeah, it just more if it's that.
Hey, Ann, there's 2 retired correctional officers on here. Don Davis and Brent Sharp are both retired correctional officers. Don hangs out with us on our channel. I don't know if he's been on yours, but he's was correctional officer in Solano County in California. And they both said, "Hey, we're retired correctional officers." So thought that was.
It took a correctional officer to marry a Marine. We fight awesome. You should see it.
I bet you do. My dad was a jarhead too. I love a jarhead. My brother.
It's not fair. She knows moves that I don't know to pin me down. I don't
She's
know.
got handcuffs.
Ooh, I like the handcuffs.
I'm the one that likes the handcuffs.
Well, Darren,
That's way too much information. Sorry, people.
Sorry, guys.
Darren, do you know anything about the LifePo 4 batteries? I don't. No.
Okay, let me read this real quick. Balancing the batteries, integrated energy management system network, Firefly Granite multiplex. I'm troubleshooting battery out of sync error. Not really. If I was there, I'd have a fun time playing with that. But off the top of my head, no. There's a few variables that I would have to kind of dig into to do that. But like if you contact Firefly, they might know exactly. Oh, it's this. It's checkbox.
Yeah. It's always a checkbox.
Yeah, we're gonna need to
we can
wrap up because we got to jump over on our Patreon side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
and I got to pee.
I mean, there's a lot of questions we didn't get to, guys, but that's just because we just didn't have time to get to them. And I don't know. I had fun. If you guys had fun, maybe we'll do this again.
This was easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you guys do a monthly live stream anyway, right?
We do. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe every month, a couple months or something, we could do this. Try it again.
We'll just stay tuned to our announcements. We'll let people know what we're coming up with.
Yeah.
On both sides, on both channels. Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly an hour and a half goes.
Yeah,
Actually, 1:24.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to everybody that stopped by tonight, thank you so much for stopping
Yes.
by.
Yeah.
And sorry we couldn't get to all your questions, but if we do
The
this
naked
again,
hillbilly.
maybe we can get to them. So
Yeah, maybe next time we can have you guys send us questions that
Ooh.
that we can do a question and answer that way instead of getting questions and having to ask questions and stuff like that. So
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream, but we can still talk for a few minutes. So
Okay.
good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Night,
Bye,
guys.
Yep.
Blessings.
Bye.